Sanders here to separate himself.
Lofting back corner of the end zone. Touchdown! And Shedeur Sanders has his first career NFL touchdown.
The boys are back in town.
Okay, welcome to the show. We are on Sports. 8 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 carries, 19 yards, precise, accurate. Oh my God. This young man was excellent in the way in which he played on Friday night. And for me, the thing that I liked the most was nothing spectacular. I don't need anything spectacular. The reason that I made the one of the worst predictions of all time last year was saying that, hey, who could upset the Chiefs in the AFC? And I said, well, if the Cleveland Browns got just average quarterback play, they're pretty damn good defensively. They have a good roster. Maybe they could make a run. That's one of the worst predictions of all time. But I am going to stick with one thing. What if the Cleveland Browns got just average quarterback play? And I think this man can give them more than that, but I'm not going to overreact. And I'm going to say I'm confident Shedeur Sanders can give them average quarterback play.
So what you saw on Friday night, you thought was average quarterback play?
No, I thought it was well above.
I did too. So even though Shedeur graded himself with a C, he played a lot better than that.
Yes, but that's the exciting part. So let's assume the more he plays, the more tape people have on him. Okay, so maybe he's 1% worse for a couple of weeks, and then as he gets ready and used to the NFL, he gets 1% better and better and better. If that's what he is, oh boy. And I remember the Pats did this. The Pats were like, well, we don't get credit for all the Brady stuff. We passed on him 5 times too. Right? The Browns passed on him a million times also. But I am ready to go crazy and say so many teams are going to look at this young man with that team and say, what the hell were we doing on draft night?
Yeah.
Why did we not consider him?
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought watching that performance. He was in complete command. He had it all going, whether it was on schedule, off schedule, from the pocket, outside of the pocket, whether he was throwing off platform, it didn't matter. Shedeur showed the ability to be able to operate the offense. There was a poise that goes beyond his years. And you said, he made some average plays. I would push back on that and say that both touchdown throws were outstanding throws. Those are big-time NFL throws. The first one to Caden Davis where he's bootlegging out to the left, squares his shoulders, layers a throw perfectly between 2 Carolina Panthers defenders. You had a guy in front, a guy behind him, and yet he finds a way to fit it in there and only giving his receiver an opportunity to make a play. That's big time. I mean, and then the second touchdown throw to Caden Davis, he's in the red zone again, and you're talking about him identifying the blitz from the second level, seeing the guy run through, sidestepping, giving his back an opportunity to pick up the blitz, and then throwing a dot. Knees are below, neck are above in the end zone. He threw it below the knees, protected his receiver, accurate throw, give his guy another chance to make a play. Those are outstanding throws. Those are NFL level throws from a quarterback. And for Shedeur to show those dominant traits, that accuracy, that football acumen, I thought that was very telling. But probably the biggest takeaway for me in watching Shedeur Sanders' performance on Friday night was actually nothing to do with what Shedeur did on the field. It was how his teammates responded to him when he was on the sideline. Watching Myles Garrett jumping all over him, watching all of the receivers in the back celebrating with him, watching guys come out and tap him on the shoulder as he's doing the time celebration. To me, that gives you all the insight you need in terms of what the Cleveland Browns should be doing at the quarterback position and how they should divvy up the reps the rest of the preseason. Because those guys on that Browns sideline believe in Shedeur Sanders as much as Shedeur believes in himself. And if he can galvanize that locker room in that way from what we saw Friday night, this Cleveland Browns team is going to be a hell of a lot better than people expect.
Here is Shedeur postgame, ready for this moment.
I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't nervous, so I didn't really have too much adrenaline. It was just getting comfortable. That's all it is. It's plenty of games before. I was nervous, but I felt like I knew the answers to the test. So it's like when you feel unprepared, then when you don't feel like you're ready for the moment. I know I'm ready for the moment. Did I play up to par? No, I don't feel like I did. But overall, the main goal was to win, and that's honestly what we did.
So the thing that I love about Shedeur, and I think it's a lot of the assumption, well, he's Deion's son. He must be flashy. He must be spectacular. And yes, he makes spectacular throws. But his biggest strength seems to just simply be decision making. It's not like he's a pure pocket passer that's not the greatest athlete of all time. His dad is legitimately maybe the greatest athlete of all time.
No doubt.
Right? Like, maybe. Shedeur's not close to that. But in terms of decision making, that's an accuracy. That's what you look for in great quarterbacks. And he seems to have, like, oh, I need to dump it off? All right, I'll dump it off. I need to throw it away? I'll throw it away. Like, that's what I actually love about this guy, is that he's kind of boring in a great way. I want my quarterbacks to be boring.
Yeah.
I think he has that, and I mean this in a positive way. I think he's got that great boring trait of, he's open, I'm going to throw it to him. He's not, I'm going to throw it away. Cool. Great. Every drive ends in a kick. That's what you want. And this guy, yes, he thread the needle on a few throws that was fantastic. I was so impressed with the poise. There was everything about him that was great on Friday night. And now the question becomes, what happens next? Is he going to be the starter? Can he be the starter week one? Is it in their best interest and his best interest to be the starter week one?
Well, there's no doubt in my mind that Shedeur Sanders needs to be first in line behind Joe Flacco when it comes to team reps with the first team dudes the rest of the preseason. Like I understand you want to get Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett a fair shake, and those guys are dealing with an injury. But you know what I always say about fair in the NFL? Those two things don't go together. Fair is a place where they judge pigs at. And so, based on the circumstance, Shedeur Sanders took advantage of the opportunity, and now the whole world can't unsee what we watched on Friday night, right? So especially the locker room.
So Flacco is in essence, the veteran representative is Flacco.
Yes.
The young representative is Shedeur, and the other two guys have now taken a backseat.
No question about it.
So let them split first team reps.
As far as what we see in practice with the reps with the first team, but then also snaps in the game. Shedeur Sanders got 49 snaps in that game on Friday night.
Yeah.
That's a good sample size. And guess what? He led 3 touchdown drives. 3 of them things. That's impressive. He did it across the second quarter and the third quarter. That's impressive to me. Now, granted, we're talking about not going against all of the starters for the Carolina Panthers defense. We did see what he did on the the fringe area, the red zone, on that 4th and 1, where he backpedals, where he retreats to the middle of the field before throwing a short incompletion. You can't do those types of things. You'd like to see him in that instance throw it to the hot receiver, which was the quick out, the tight end Shannon. But I would say this: Shedeur Sanders showed a certain level of calm that I'm not sure that the Cleveland Browns have seen over the past year or so. They got it lightning in a bottle 2 years ago when Joe Flacco came off the couch. It led them to the playoffs. But when you start talking about a quarterback that can settle everybody down, a quarterback that has playmaking ability, but a quarterback that also knows how to play within structure, that's a great blend. And Shedeur Sanders has all of the talent that you need to be effective at the quarterback position in this league.
You just said something that triggered a thought that I had not had until this moment. The latest Browns hope is Shedeur. Before then, it was Baker Mayfield, it was Johnny Manziel. At the time they were with the Cleveland Browns, and I want to be specific about that. At the time they were with the Cleveland Browns, I think neither of them were ready for the stardom and the roller coaster ride that being the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns comes with, the way that this guy is. At the time they were with the Cleveland Browns. Baker Mayfield today, you put him back in Cleveland, he's fine.
Yeah.
But he needed to go through that to get to this. And there was a moment post-game with a guy that I know very well, in Tony Grossi, ESPN Cleveland, that there was a healthy back and forth of a conversation where Shedeur goes up to Grossi, who's covered the Browns forever, ESPN Cleveland. He's a great reporter. And he goes, hey, why are you never positive? And Grossi had a response for him. And then Shedeur had a response for him. And then Grossi had a response. And then they're both laughing. You know what? I don't believe, in fact, I know, Johnny Manziel and Baker Mayfield previously could not have had that positive of an exchange.
No.
Confronting someone in a healthy way that has not been positive towards them. And it's not that Tony hasn't been positive. He's been, well, he hasn't looked as good here and hasn't looked as good there. That's fine.
Yeah.
As long as it's not personal, which it's not. But Shedeur has shown a level of maturity already that is through the roof. I don't want my dad coming to practice because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
I'm going to confront Tony Grossi in a healthy way, and we're going to have a positive conversation. I'm going to make good decisions on the field. I mean, I understand, CC, it's only one game, but 5 rounds, 4 full rounds, and into the 5th round pass on this young man.
Yeah. He applied maximum pressure after what he did in his performance on Friday night. I will say this, Evan. There is no chance that the Cleveland Browns are going to carry 4 quarterbacks from the active roster into the regular season. That's gone now because they don't have to.
Right.
Right? You don't need to keep 2 veteran quarterbacks on your roster. You know why? Because the guy, Shedeur Sanders, showed that it's not too big for him.
Oh, God, no.
He showed it's not too big for him. And that's the biggest thing that you worry about with a young quarterback. Those guys being deers in the headlights. You don't want that. But it's clear that that's not going to be Shedeur Sanders. So we'll see what ends up happening this week. They go to Philly. They've got joint practices against the reigning defending Super Bowl champs.
He'll be ready.
And then they'll have an opportunity to get out on the grass in a game under the lights, and we'll see what ends up happening. But if he follows that performance up that we saw against the Panthers with another solid performance against the Philadelphia Eagles, he's going to make it hard for Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry not to consider him as the guy when the regular season kicks off in a little under a month from now.
And dare I say this, if you're right about everything you're saying, 2 first-rounders next year without the need for a quarterback. The Cleveland Browns may actually be set up as well. Oh, my God. The Cleveland Browns may be set up as well as any franchise that doesn't have an obvious franchise quarterback in the entire league moving forward. They're not set up as well as the Chiefs or the Ravens or the Bills. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
But if you have a 5th-round quarterback that hits and you have 2 first-rounders next year, I mean, that's the dream come true.
I will also say this, Evan. He's going to make a lot of people look foolish if he ends up being the guy.
And I know
he's going to make a lot of teams that were quarterback needy that decided to pass on him look foolish.
And I know the number 1 team atop your